Hi everybody, Ali Akbarian, your resident road safety expert from Mobility Engineering, back again for another Q&A. Thank you very much for tuning in. As we always say, keep those questions coming, we love them. And like my trusty subscribe pillow, which is getting very long and old, but still, well, it's still here, so please help us to get to that 1,000 subscriber mark. We'd love your help on that. So please hit that button down there, that red button, and help us to get to that 1,000 subscribers, and then we'll get a new one of these or something different. Okay, so on to today's question. So today's question is all about securing wheelchairs. So we are right now in our training facility at our training bench, should I say, at our trial and assessment facility in Hornsby in Sydney. We have a demo set up here for training therapists and drivers and things like that, and also doing trials and assessment. And our good friends at Sunrise Medical have also given us a quickie wheelchair to help with these demonstrations, and also helps with this video as well. So enough of the plugging, let's talk about the actual question. So the question is around securing the wheelchair, not the actual occupant, but let's say we have got videos around securing occupants, and we can put links on that down below, but basically this is simply, the question comes, how tight do I secure my wheelchair using the wheelchair tie-down points to the vehicle? So that's basically the question. How firm am I supposed to have this thing tied down? So I wanted to talk about two aspects around that, so we can understand, I guess, how firm it needs to be. So simply the answer is that it needs to be very firm, so there is basically no movement. And to give you the sort of the background and the reasons why, basically think about this as the seating position for the occupant, right? So an occupant sits in there, and think about, let's say, the front seat of a car. It's the same thing as this. The front seat of a car that, you know, an able-bodied person is sitting in is bolted into the car. And when the car has a crash, when the car moves at 60 k's an hour, when the car hits the accelerator, when the car stops, everything moves at the same rate at the car. So when the person is sitting on that front seat that's bolted into the car, they move at the same rate as the car. From a safety point of view, which is the number one point and the first point, from a safety point of view, we want everything to work and move at the same rate as the car. So what that means is we also want this wheelchair to feel like it's bolted into the car, right? So what does that mean? It needs to be very firm. Very firm, so much so that when I shake the wheelchair, there is basically no movement in that wheelchair. There'll be a bit of vibration, and I'll demonstrate that to you in a minute. But what you want is when you're shaking the wheelchair, you're starting to feel the whole car or the whole van shake. And if you're starting to feel that, that means they're both kind of interconnected. They're both moving through the same force vector, if you'd like, and you're going to be okay, right? In the event of an accident, when we have an accident, which is why we have all these safety devices, by the way, when we have an accident, or if anyone has an accident, generally speaking, from the start to the finish of the accident is like that, right? So it all happens within a split second, half a second, a third of a second, a tenth of a second. The entire thing happens within like that, right? So and we have within a car, especially in modern vehicles, we have airbags, ABS, crash safety systems, crumple zones. We've got all of these crash systems that help us and keep us safe. But they are all designed to all work in unison with the car when the crash happens. So if this guy, this wheelchair, this guy or girl, or anyone who's sitting in this wheelchair is connected in, but they're not super firm and they're not moving at the same pace of the car, and let's say there's a slight delay of half a second, well, they've missed out on all of the safety benefits of the car, and they're getting zero benefit, and they're going to get a massive impact from an accident just from being a half a second behind, you know, a bit late to that safety party, if that makes sense. So very, very important from a safety aspect that this thing is firm enough to be secured and move at the same pace of the car, right? So that's the first point. The second point is the comfort factor. So the comfort is also a big problem for a wheelchair occupant. A wheelchair has multiple different connection points, a lot of different points of vibration, and constant vibration in a car causes major discomfort and also potential physical health issues for the occupant. So making that kind of extra squeeze and getting that secure removes a hell of a lot of vibration out of that seat and out of the transport, and makes it a lot more comfortable and a lot less impact on the person's body. So very important from a safety point of view, but also from the comfort, for the comfort of our occupants. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a little bit of a rundown or a bit of a few hints and tips on what we need to look out for when we're securing our wheelchair in the vehicle. So what I've done previously to now is I've loaded this up and I've kind of put it in the right spot, so we don't want to spend too much time clunkily on this video doing that. And we've even got the back ones lined up. So with the wheelchair, if you sort of zoom sideways and have a look at the back, what you'll see is the back wheelchair restraints are inside the wheel and they are in a straight line. So always the back restraints have to be inside the wheels, and they have to be inside the wheels and in a straight line. So you can see they're inside the wheels and in a straight line. That's the back. You should never go out towards the side on the back. That back needs to go straight. And that gives you the best basically performance in an accident. So I've connected those up previously to this video, and I'm just going to show you how I connected them up on these front ones. So what we're going to do here is go to the front ones. Now with the front ones, you want them splayed out to the side. So this is splayed out roughly about 30 to 45 or 60 degrees, whatever we can get, but we are going out to the side. It's not coming to the front, right? We're going out to the side. Here's my transit tie-down points. So with my hook here, I sometimes need to push these down to get it going. Sometimes you need to go back, push it down, or you just push it, you bring it down, and you hook it onto your transit tie-down point. Right? And you just leave it there like that. And you do the same with your other point. Push that down, transit tie-down point, like so. Now, we're all secured in. So once we're secured in, all we need to do is go around to each point and hand tighten these. Now, don't think, oh, I'm not very strong, how am I going to get it secure? These have got a gear mechanism in them, so if you're not very strong, it doesn't matter, they're just hand tightened and the inside of it puts extra pressure. So you go around, and what I recommend is you go around each one 2 times. So I'll come here, and I'll do one there, come here, do one there, that, then I go to the back, do the same, like that. And the same on that side. And then, like I said, come back to the front and just do a secondary final check, final squeeze. There we go. And like that. That. And like that. And now you have a very, very secure situation, right? So everything is very, very firm and very secure. And if you look, and you start look at the rest of this frame, bits and pieces on the frame, you'll see that they are all vibrating. Yes, you see how there is a bit of movement in the wheelchair? That's okay, that's correct, that's firm, because the whole wheelchair has lots of different connection points in it, so each one of those connection points is going to have a slight bit of movement, and so it comes, when you're shaking it up here, it feels like it's moving a lot, but it's actually not. When you feel it down here, it's very, very secure, right? And that's what basically you can check as a final check. Is go, yeah, that's very secure, it's very tight, I've done my final squeeze, and away I go. Alright, so that's basically how we want to secure it, and there's a few little hints and tips. Hooking it on, hand tightening it, going around in a clockwise manner and just doing it twice. That makes sure that you're secure and make sure that you pick something up that's been missed. So that hopefully helps with that. Now, I want to talk about something which is under here, and if you want to come closer to this and have a look under here, and we've done many videos on this which are quite popular online, on the Dale dock. So there is a docking station underneath this. We've done some videos on that, and you can look them up or have a link below. And basically, if you want to remove everything that I just showed you, and all of those little steps, and you want to make it really easy, and you just drive straight in and you click in, you get one of those docks. So we recommend those docks. Dale or any other brand, that basically the whole point is the dock, what it does is it removes all of this stuff. It basically means you just drive straight in, you click, and it's tightened and everything is done, right? So I don't need to adjust anything, and it gives me a little red and a green indicator. So the green indicator means it's locked and it's in, so that's what the dock does. So whilst this is a great system, and I've given you some tips on that, we think that the best option to make sure you're very, very secure and very tight is to use something that's underneath here, the Dale dock or a dock like that, and you can go and look up those videos on the rest of our YouTube channel, or we'll put some links below on that. So hopefully that helps with your question on how tight does the wheelchair need to be in the vehicle by the restraints when there's an occupant in it. And thank you very much for tuning in. Please hit that subscribe button down there, and we will see you next time.